The Minnesota Vikings have a couple of questions along the offensive line, namely who's going to start at center. Maybe Bradbury, maybe Chris Reed, maybe Austin Schlottman, but also who's going to start at right guard. Now, a couple weeks ago, we said that Jesse Davis was probably the betting favorite to start at right guard over rookie Ed Ingram, but now, after a couple of practices where Ed Ingram started over the veteran Jesse Davis, while Davis was practicing, Ed Ingram was playing with the ones, and then Ed Ingram coming and having a phenomenal debut in his preseason game against the Raiders, as well as veteran Jesse Davis, maybe not so much, including giving up a couple pressures and a sack. Maybe it is time. It's time to consider starting rookie second-round pick Ed Ingram at right guard week 1 against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, and I think that they are setting it up to happen because, like we mentioned, Ed Ingram has started over Jesse Davis a couple times in practice, in full-on padded practices. Even when Jesse Davis has been practicing, he's been given a couple of veteran days off, but they've been mainly at non-padded practices. Now, if Ed Ingram continues on this path, and maybe he runs with the ones against the Niners on Wednesday and Thursday in joint practices, and maybe even starts in the second preseason game Saturday against San Francisco, Maybe they're laying the groundwork. But Ingram against the Raiders, he played phenomenal. And yes, you could say, well, he's working against the twos, playing against the twos, except the Raiders largely kept the same personnel between the first and Vikings' first and second offensive line. So it isn't necessarily that. But he was physical both in the run game as well as pass blocking. He has a great balance, which is a highlight of his of his scouting report coming out of LSU. Rock solid anchor, So the Vikings, they went out and they needed a pass-blocking guard, and they picked up a pass-blocking guard with an anchor that Ed Ingram had one of the best anchors of interior offensive linemen in the draft. Respect that. He was constantly looking for work when he was uncovered. He was giving a lot of help to Brandel. He was giving some help to Schlottman, just knocking dudes around. Protected Kellen Mond, allowed him to have a nice day, especially in the second half, as well as open running lanes for Ty Chandler, as well as King Kene and Wangu. That's one of the big reasons why Kene ran for a bunch of yards, as well as Ty was averaging 10 yards a carry. They're just ripping things up. The second team interior offensive linemen of left to right, Kyle Hinton at left guard, Austin Schlottman at center, as well as Ed Ingram at right guard, looked really, really good against the Raiders. So now it becomes a decision. Do you start the rookie second round pick, who, even though he's had some really nice moments in practices, as well as really showed well at the preseason game, do you start him, take the risk, even though there is going to be some growing pains, I'm sure, when Ed Ingram plays against ones, but do you go with him, or do you go with the veteran Jesse Davis, who you gave $2.75 million fully guaranteed on a 1-year, $3 million deal? Right now, I would start the kid. I would start the rookie. I understand that paying $3 million for a backup is kind of a lot, but Jesse Davis can be a perfectly fine utility offensive lineman. He can play guard, he can play tackle, so you're good to go there. I do think that Ed Ingram needs to be that guy, because if you're dedicated on getting the best 5 out there, Ed Ingram is the future. Jesse Davis is 30 years old and a free agent on a 1-year deal. He's not the future. He was brought in as a stopgap to just bring in some veteran muscle along the offensive line. But Ingram is going to be the future. May as well start that clock now, because I think that he does bring a lot to the table. I think that he's physical. I think that he's got some nastiness to him. I think that he does have a chip that the Vikings interior offensive line has lacked the last couple of years. And I think that he and Ezra Cleveland can be nice guards flanking whoever's going to start at center, whether it's Bradbury, whether it's Schlottman, whether it's Chris Reed, don't really know. But I think that having consistent, competent guards around Garrett Bradbury, if he does start, I think that could potentially help him, because he's had a gong show around him at guards, whether it's Elflein, whether it's Dozier, whether it's Oli Udoh last year, Ezra during that time. I do think that Ezra is panning out to be a good player, but he was still learning the position over the last couple of years. But you got Ezra Cleveland, who's got great agility and ability, and then you got Ed Ingram starting next to him, who's got that physicality. I think that could take a lot off of Garrett Bradbury's plate, and maybe this thing could actually work out. But we shall see. But I think the competition, it's one of the more notable ones. But I think as of right now, say maybe it's a true 50-50. I was going to give the slight edge to Ed Ingram, but you know how NFL coaches are with rookies, but who knows? Maybe Kevin O'Connell will be different. Maybe he'll have the huevos to start Ed Ingram week 1 against the Packers and Kenny Clark and company. So I say bring it. Because, I mean, Kenny Clark, he's added too good. Like, it's been salad days for too many years against the Vikings here offensive line. He needs to run into the stone wall that is Ed Ingram. Bring it on, man. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Should the Vikings start Ed Ingram? Yes. Yes, they should. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.